tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal?
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America, because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, healthcare, pensions, throw them out on the street, because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good paying jobs in America as we shut down plants. We move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country.
It's also proper for advanced economies like the United States to insist on reciprocity from nations like China that are no longer solely poor countries, to make sure that they're providing access to their markets and that they stop taking intellectual property and hacking our servers.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nancy Pelosi, pointing to a chart that I agree with. I've never thought I'd say that. But, Bo, you kind of saw Nancy Pelosi, saw Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama defending the ideas of tariffs, except for they don't like them now. What are your thoughts on just the overall lib perspective of this is great until President Trump says it's great, then it's awful?
Yeah. So, I mean, my immediate thought is this goes to show how far the left has gone. They used to be moderate, and that sounds crazy to even think about. But I mean, take a look back at Barack Obama, who wasn't bad on immigration. He actually had quite a few deportations, if you look back in the day. And then now, fast forward to Joe Biden, last term, he allowed millions upon millions of illegal immigrants. It just goes to show how far left they have gone. And then taking it over to tariffs, like I said with the last story, it's just whatever furthers the leftist narrative. So if tariffs are something that Trump supports, then they are not going to support tariffs. Anything Trump supports, they will not support. It doesn't matter if it's giving money to St. Jude. They're not going to support it.
Bryce, yeah, to your point, Bo, yeah, those are all seems to be accurate the way that I'm looking at things. Bryce, is there a different approach the Trump administration maybe should take? Maybe they should take some stances that Trump doesn't actually think in order to make the libs think the opposite, which Trump does actually think, and therefore be in support of things that conservatives / the Republican Party would be in favor of. I know that was kind of like a twisty gymnastics thing, but is there a different approach that should be taken?
That would be like 6D chess or something like that. Maybe that's what we should start doing. But the truth is here, what you're witnessing, and I have a little bit different take than you guys maybe, but what you're witnessing is these folks just want to accumulate political power. Mm-hmm. So what you're seeing is there's no principles here. They have zero principles. They are going to say whatever it takes to accumulate political power. And we're seeing that right now with Gavin Newsom on his tour, where he's all of a sudden running to the middle because he thinks that that's going to bring him political power. So what we're witnessing is really just the naked left. And by the way, you don't actually want to witness the naked left because they accumulate ugliness. I rescued a kid the other day out of a Tesla protest. I walked to the other side and I started chatting with people. And of course, none of them had any real positions that they understood. They couldn't articulate things, but there's this 25-year-old kid who, was a roofer, had some questions about things, was willing to engage in conversation. And I said, hey, listen, man, you pursue truth long enough, you're going to end up on the other side of the street with me.